Hey. What's up, guys? Welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, your host and international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker. Check out the shirt if you forget. Check out the logo in the top right if you forget. Check it out wherever you want to. But so my name's Jeff Marconette Jr. As I previously said, when I was 17 years old, I was involved in a serious car accident. I spent 2.5 months in a coma and 3.5 in the hospital. They told me I wouldn't walk again, but guess what? I'm here now, and I am here to show you guys that you can accomplish anything in your life, and the only person that holds you back is you. But we ask you if you would please share this episode out. Invite all kinds of people to watch it, share it in as many places as you want. And don't forget to give us all kinds of hearts, thumbs up, and frowny faces, cry faces. Heck, you can even get mad at us. I don't care. Just help us track the algorithms on one of the social media networks that we're on. To go through a short introduction, tell who you are, where you're from, and what you do. That would be absolutely amazing.
You got it. Maeli Nelson here. Excited to be present with Jeff. I'm very grateful to be here. I am from Salt Lake City, well, originally from St. George, Utah, but now live in Salt Lake City, Utah. And so we are in Mountain Standard Time right now. I am a real estate investor specialist, which basically means that I educate others on how to transform their dreams into reality and how to get out of the rat race so that they too can one day retire.
That is amazing because retirement sounds so good to me,
Oh, yeah.
but I'm a little young for that, as you can imagine. Well, maybe you might think I'm a little old, but hey, whatever. So, if I happen to know through my car accident and through everything that I've gone through since that there are things that we're supposed to learn in life. And by going through things, and we go through those things, but by actually going through them, we grow through them. So I like to say, grow through something. And has there been anything that you have had to grow through to become a real estate investor?
Oh boy, how's there ever? I the time frame that we have, I'm gonna just have to choose one, but there's
Right.
plenty of scenarios where I've had to got to grow, I should say, right? Because life is always happening for us,
Yeah,
not to.
not to us. Yeah,
That's
correct.
right. Yep. I can think of one specific, way that it happened to me and for me. About 7 years ago, I actually was in a wheelchair myself, and my profession at the time was knocking doors for a living, and I was knocking doors. And one day I was training one of my guys, and I stepped off the curb wrong. My left leg seized up, and my right leg seized up, and I went. I had that gasp, when your back kind of just tweaks out on you, and I thought, oh no, I'm going to be a couple days down, right? Well, I had to call my ex-husband and have him come pick me up, and from that moment on, for 9 months, I was in a wheelchair, and that was my entire career. I had actually had retired my ex-husband for 4 years, so he stayed at home with my two kids, and
Wow.
so unfortunately, I was the only income earner. So for him to have to try and go back to work and trying to, make up the difference of all the medical bills and me not working at all, it just started collapsing on itself. And within a few, months, all of a sudden I went, we're not going to survive. We ended up losing everything. We got foreclosed on our house. We forfeited. We literally left Utah with just our suitcases and moved back in with family so that
Aw,
I know, because if you have
that
foreclosure on your
that
name,
is amazing.
really don't get to even rent a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I actually read up on you a little bit.
Mhm.
So I have to admit I was kind of stalking you a little, like, but it was kind of interesting. But I learned uh, that you had grown up where?
Yes, so I was also raised in a religious cult. And what it basically means, so in Utah, it's probably pretty common. You've heard of the polygamist cults that are around here, but this one was pretty, different. I do have 22 siblings, and
22?
mhm,
Two, two.
22 siblings. I know, crazy. My mom officially got out when I was age 11, so that was amazing. At that point in time, I was able to finally go to school and get an education. So before that, I didn't know how to really read or write or any type of mathematics of any kind, which
Yeah.
made it really struggle, to try and overcome that. It just shows that if I can do it, you can too, my friends. You can
Yeah.
too.
That's what I tell so many people, that I have created this life that I am living. I'm living my best life right now, and I do it each and every day. And I tell them that if I can do it, guess what? So can you. And it's not a lie, because I, I'm nothing special,
You are.
but I did it. And I just think that each and every person out there needs to do it too.
That's right. And that's the
So
key, right?
I,
Is just
I,
to say, I can
yeah,
too. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
right, yeah. So I need to take a second here and say hello to Ben Bruce. He is from Lagos, Nigeria, and so this is an international show. So we hope you're doing great tonight, Ben Bruce. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. But I have to ask, Maeli, for somebody that I was talking to earlier, he had a question for you, and he was asking me what cult you were in. Is it a famous cult or no?
No, it wouldn't be a religion in which anyone would know is the truth. It's a little tiny, small, less than 200 people out in the middle of nowhere in southern Utah.
Wow. Cause I know that he thought maybe my guess was Leah Remy or whatever, and it's like, no, I'm not that big yet. I said yet. I said
But
yet.
yes, yes, that's right.
But so what was the cult like? I mean, you said you grew up without education. So was it hard to get back into or hard to get into school when you had to go for the first time?
Yeah. I mean, that was the biggest thing is truthfully, I watched my mom being told my whole life that I was that I knew of that she really wasn't enough, that she wasn't worthy because she didn't have a son. I was her own she had two daughters and she never gave a son to my dad. And so because of that, she was not worthy. And that just right there just feels really like, oh, and ugly, and it feels toxic, right? And so for her to get out of that situation, she became my superhero. Obviously, she
Yeah.
is my, she is my everything, and I owe all of what I have to her. But she made that choice to get out and to give me a different life. And because of that, I saw the ability to have just strength, right? And our words do matter. And being able for her to make that sacrifice, because it was a really big sacrifice. She had to forfeit everything, right? And start all over in her life. She didn't have any money. She didn't have any credit. She had nothing. And so for her to say, I'm willing to live on the streets, I'm willing to live in a van, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that my daughter has a different life was just so incredible. So, of course, from that moment, I said, no, we are enough. Women in general, we are enough. And it's okay to have a voice. and it is okay to be successful and to make money and to get an education, obviously. And so now it is obviously my life mission to make sure that all women know that we are enough and that we can control our own finances and that we can have and do and be whatever we want whenever we want to. And just a matter of changing what's up here, right?
Now, I have to say that while that is true for women,
It's true for
that
men.
is also true for men. I
100%.
just wanted to add that to your little
You
spiel there.
specifically asked how it was different, and that is why it was different, is because unfortunately in the cult it was very much so a dominant male religion. And
Yeah.
so the only people who had an opinion, the only people that could really speak were men.
All right. I understand where you were coming from with it then. But I just wanted to clarify that for people because I don't want men to feel like, oh no, this isn't about me. But so how was it developing relationships once you came out of this cult?
It was really difficult because I didn't know how to communicate to normal, average, everyday people. And so I was 12 years old when I went to school for the first time, which was sixth grade. And I honestly, I got pulled aside from my teacher day 3, and he said to me, Maeli, what planet did you get dropped from? Like, what are you? Who are you? Like, what is going on with this? And of course, I had to laugh. Oh, I just went really orange.
Yeah.
Of course, I had to laugh and be like, oh, what do you mean? You know? And obviously, I knew what he was talking about. I told him a little bit of my story, and he goes, okay, well, if you're willing, and it looks like you are, like I will show up and I will try and help you. And then with my mom's help, she coached me and trained me, and together they really gave me all the tools to be successful for the rest of my life. But I had to put in about 3 to 4 hours a day my sixth grade year after school to really learn and try and get caught up because I was very behind. I mean, I was the really weird kid, like have you ever seen Waterboy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was that kid. Yeah, but I was the mama said kid, right? Where everything was a lie. I was a chronic liar because I didn't know what was true and what wasn't true, right, in my life. And so I learned something very valuable, and I consider it my superpower now. But and like you were saying earlier, who knows why you have to go through something to learn on the other side why you went through it. But I definitely had to go through this to become the person I am today. And that was simply to be quiet. In sales, the best strength that you will ever have is to be very quiet and listen, right? And I ended up having to be very quiet. So 12th grade, or excuse me, from 12 to 16, I really didn't speak very much. In my friend groups, in my dance classes, and any extracurricular activities that I had, I was very quiet. Now, people wouldn't think that about me today, right? Because I'm not a quiet person, but I did have to learn to be quiet. And that gave me a superpower of learning human behavior and watching how people interacted with each other, therefore giving me an upper hand when it came to sales.
Yeah, that would be great because you figured out that what you went through as a kid gave you some other insight into people. And that is amazing because there are so many people in the world today that are going through something. And I think that those people just need to figure out a lesson or something that is trying to be taught to them out of that situation in order to move on and in order to better their life. So I find that very empowering that you took something that you went through and actually learned from it and grew from it.
It's the only option, right?
Thank you for that. But I have to ask, like, do you have any advice for other people that are going through something? Like, uh, do you have any tips on where you got your strength from?
Well, I guess my biggest tip that I would give you is contrast brings clarity. So if you can look at your life in a way where you're saying, wow, I don't like what I see. I don't, if you were a lead in a story that you were reading right now, do you like the person that is in lead character? If you don't like the person that's the lead character, should probably change that character. And the only way that you can change the character is to rewrite that story. And it's up to you. You only live one life, right? You only have one life to live, and it's yours to choose.
Yeah, exactly. You know, what would you suggest for the people that don't like that character in the book and they want to change their life? What's like 3 steps that you have for changing your life?
I would pick up as many self-development books as possible, and I would for sure, absolutely 1000% try and listen to motivational speakers like yourself. Listen to our channel, right? Flipping with Mitch and Maeli. We do a ton of motivational activities. But the biggest thing is if you're going to read any of those and you're going to listen to any of those books, or read any of those books, you actually have to take action. You can't just read them and then be like, oh, yay, my day is up.
No, you just went yellow again. There you go.
But like that's the biggest thing is you have to take action every day and recognize when those those doubting activities or those doubting mindsets enter your brain. You have to take action and acknowledge it first. Wow, I like it. It's fine. We're just gonna keep putting tissue boxes in front of. You can take a second every time you have a negative thought of something like I'm not good enough, there's no way I can have that, why would they pick me, I'm not the expert, right? Any of those FOMO, any of the feelings of you're not enough, I want you to take a second, and this is just the activity you need to do constantly, and eventually it won't take so much time, but in the beginning it takes a ton of effort, and you're going to have to implement this every hour on the hour, if not every 5 minutes on every 5 minutes. You're going to have to consciously say to yourself, is this true? Ask the question, is that true? Or is that something I made up? Or is that something that I think other people might be thinking about me? Take a second, acknowledge it. That's the first step. Acknowledge what your thought process is. And then say, oh, that isn't true. I am worthy enough, or I can have that. Who told me that I couldn't have that? Or where did that come from, right? Yeah. Really do some self-diagnosing of why do I feel like that's the case, or why do I believe that? And then reinsert the right activity or the right words, which is I can do that. I can have that. I am enough to have that, right? By simply changing those words, all of a sudden, bam, whether you thought you couldn't or you could, you can.
That is so great. Now, let's say, all right, I'm gonna think for a second. So I have noticed something about this show. Now, I have been doing this show for over 6 years now. And like a lot of my guests, if not each of my guests, say that family and the people around them really help them out in life, help them get through what they were going through. But what about those people that don't have anybody?
Yeah, I mean, that is part of why I actually created the community that we've created, not only for our women. So we have a community called Creating Her Empire, and then we have our Flipping with Mitch and Maeli community. And both communities are for different reasons, but at the same time, the same exact reason, which is creating a tribe of people that will surround you. whether it's our community or it's Jeff's community or it's all of the communities you can possibly find, you really do need to find someone, anyone, I don't care who it is, that has the things you want, lives the lifestyle that you want, that treats people the way you want them to, maybe walks and talks and dresses the way you would like. You need to figure out that avatar of the person who you're like, oh, this is who I'm meant to be. This is the type of person that I would do anything to be like that person. Once you can capture, and maybe it's multiple people that you're going to kind of have to smush into the one person, right? Take pictures of those people, video those people, really define what makes that character so appealing to you. And once you've defined that characteristic, go do some research and figure out how to become that person. Once you know what they do as their activity, maybe it's real estate investing that you discover is your oh my gosh, I got to figure out how to do real estate investing so I can have all the things that Maeli has or that Mitch has. And if that's the discovery that you figure out, you now need to go surround yourself with people who are actually doing those activities, right? Not with mom and dad or cousins or Joes, because whether or not you have family doesn't mean they're supportive. They're crabs. Most of the time, family members are crabs, and you're in a bucket, and they're going to grab you and pull you down. Your job is to get out of the bucket.
Yeah,
right?
that's because you're leaving them behind by growing.
Yes. Yep. And so it makes them sad. It makes them feel like you're, oh, you think you're so cool, and they put all these tags on you that aren't real for any reason. And you have to surround yourself around motivated people, around people that are going to inspire you to grow and to become the best version of yourself. That's it, right? That's why we're here. We only have one life, so live the best life you can.
Yeah.
One life. That's
So she was talking a little bit there about books, and that reminds me that I need to do this. I haven't done this in a while. So this is actually my book. It's called Make Every Second Count, a 1,500-hour journal. And the foreword in it is written by Dr. Ruben West. And then my co-author in this book is Adria Luster. She's a doctor too, a PhD doctor, and she helps design curriculums for Atlanta City schools. Now, I will let you in on a little secret. So, this book is actually a perfect stocking stuffer. Shh, don't tell I said that, because I shouldn't be saying that. But it's a perfect stocking stuffer, and it wraps up really nicely too. And you guys can actually get the first 7 days, if you want to check that out, for free on my website. All you have to do is go to www.jeffmarconetjr.com/journal, and you can download the first 7 days for free. And if you like it, you can purchase there on the same page. If you don't like it, throw it away. But if you like it, make sure you tell all kinds of people about it. If you don't like it, though, don't tell anybody. But guys, go check that out for me. And remember that it is the perfect stocking stuffer for you for Christmas. So it's pretty awesome. But I want to ask Maeli, did you grow up with money?
No.
What is it like to have money now?
Oh, it's fantastic. And I will say, I mean, I know for a man, it's probably very different. And that's just because of culturally, it's been very different since the 50s. Because that was when kind of women started leaving the household and not just being, baby makers and taking care of the family. To have money as a woman is very empowering. It's a step into really being able to create your own empire and leaving your own legacy. That's never really been a thing. And to be able to say that I can spend my money on what I want, when I want, and with who I want, and spending time on where I value it most. most people unfortunately have to trade their time for money. And unfortunately, money is a very renewable resource. I mean, there's enough money to go around for everyone. There's billions and billions of dollars ready there for us at any moment. The biggest thing, though, that we need to figure out is how to stop trading time for money and recognizing that time is the most non-renewable resource, right? And really, once you have money, what do you do with it? Because money is irrelevant. It's just paper, right? It doesn't mean anything. But once you have money, you need to know what to do with money. And that's where obviously I come in and my husband come in, because it's not how much money you make that matters, actually. It's what you do with it that counts. And, you know, I've bought real estate for $1. People are like, no, you haven't. I'm like, oh yeah, I have. I've bought lots of real estate for less than $5,000. And it's just learning how to implement strategies to really create a legacy, to create something that is worth, you know, handing down to your children. And our children is our empire, right?
Yeah. That is great. So I know you were talking about flipping with Mitch and Maeli. How can people watch that if they want to?
So yeah, it's a YouTube show. We created it in 2020 to basically show off. We used to do our stuff from live presentations on stage and whatnot. And when, you know, COVID came around, I was like, I guess stages don't really work anymore. How are we supposed to get our message out? And a friend of ours, who is a very famous YouTuber, said, you know what, why don't you guys create a YouTube channel? And we're like, okay, why not? So we had some fun with it. The whole purpose of the show is to show off our failures and our successes. But more importantly, to show off our failures, because you can learn from our mistakes. And the goal there is that if you can learn from our mistakes, hopefully you won't repeat that, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Correct.
And so the YouTube channel is Flippin' with Mitch and Maeli, exactly how you see it right here on the screen. And so you can just go to YouTube and type in Flippin' with Mitch and Maeli. You can follow us on any of our social media platforms. It'll also take you directly to our YouTube account. Instagram, it's just Mitch and Maeli. And on our Facebook account, it's Flippin' with Mitch and Maeli.
Awesome. Hey, I want to tell you, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here with me and my viewers. Your assistant told me how many emails you get a week, and I'm like,
it's true.
So I absolutely understand why you have an assistant and how busy you are, and that is nuts to me, and thank you so much. But I need everyone out there to do me a favor this week, next week, and for the rest of your life. I need you to make every second count. Why, you might ask? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. I'll see you guys back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But for me, Jeff Marconette Jr., and my guest, Maeli Nelson, have a great night. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you again, Maeli.
Very welcome. Grateful to be here.